Welcome to another tutorial, part of this series where we're building an e-commerce website with Django. If you'd like to follow along, you can just go to the Django e-commerce GitHub repository. The link is in the description. Once you've got this, we can get started. Hey everyone, before we jump into this, if you're interested in becoming a better Django developer, then check out justdjango.com. Enroll and you'll get access to exclusive video courses every month on Python, JavaScript, and React with a specific focus on, obviously, Django. The link is in the description below. So in this one, we're going to focus on our cart. Right now, if we click on this button, it doesn't take us anywhere, and that's what we're going to deal with now. We're going to create a view that can display all of the items that are in the cart, and also add functionality to either remove the item from the cart or increase the quantity of that item. So first we're going to need a view. So let's come here inside core views, and right here beneath the home view, I'm going to create the order summary view. And this is going to be a detail view that it inherits from. Now we just need to specify the model as the order. And then we'll say that the template name equals to, let's say, order summary.html. Then we can take this, bring it into our URLs, and we'll just create a path there which can go to order summary. And I'll use the exact same path as the name. And then we'll make sure we use this order summary.as view. Cool. Then we can go into the templates and we'll create that file. So that's order summary.html. Let's just make sure that we don't put this inside the accounts folder. There we go. And I'm just going to copy everything from, let's go with home.html. Just paste it all there. And we're going to need to make use of a table here. So if you go to the mdbootstrap.com docs, then jQuery tables, here there are some examples of how to use tables using their styling. And I'm just going to use the responsive table. If we just come down all the way there, then we can grab hold of this code. I'm just going to copy it. And we don't need any of these links or buttons. So everything there in the nav bar we can get rid of. And the section for products, I'll also get rid of that. The pagination, I'll get rid of as well. So we're just pasting it inside this container, and let's just save that. And we'll go to /order summary. And okay, it must take either a primary key or slug, and that's right. So actually, what I'm going to do is make this inherit from a view instead of a detail view, and we can just define this on our own. So order summary view, then we don't need any of that, but we need to define the get method. This takes in self, args, and keyword args. And I'm just going to say return a render of the request. And this is going to go there. And we can pass in self.request. There we go. And all right, so there's our table showing. We can come back here, and just above the table, we can actually just tab it in. Right here, I'll just add an H2 and say order summary. So here in the table, we're just going to display information about the items that are added into this order. And that means we're going to need to take a look here at the order item. So we have the actual item, and that means we can display pretty much all of this information. So the title, the price, discount price. If we want to, we could display the rest of these, although it might not be that necessary at an order summary. Then we still have the order item, so we can specify the quantity of that item. So that's basically what we're going to display. So here in the table, we're going to create those columns. And the first one is going to be the item title. So that's the title here on this model. Then we can display the price, and then we can display the quantity, and then we can do the total item price. So meaning if you have a price of $10 and the quantity is 2, then here we want to see the total item price. That would be 20. So we'll do it like that. And that means we only need 4 columns there. And we don't need all of these rows. We can get rid of that. And here we're going to loop through the order. So we'll say for item in object.items, and then just say end for, and this should rather be items.all because it's a many-to-many field. And actually we could add another column in here and just put that hash back as like the increment, and then here we'll output the count inside the for loop. But for now, let's just get those fields displaying. So that's going to be item.title, and we just need to make sure we're going to be getting order items. So that means we should rather call this order item, and then this will be order item.item.title. Then we have the price. So that's going to be order item.item.price. And then we'll have the quantity. So this is just going to be order item.quantity because that's on the order item model. And then we have the total item price, which let's just put some question marks there. So if we come back here, we aren't passing anything into the context yet. So that means here in the view, we're going to need to get the order. So we'll say that order.objects.get, and we'll say user equals self.request.user. We'll say ordered equals false. And then here at the top, we can import from Django's exceptions. So we'll say from Django.core.exceptions import object does not exist. And then we can just say try do this, and then say except object does not exist. Then we'll have to raise an error. So we could either raise it, or we could just say return a redirect and just say to / for now. And we can just say messages.error, and we'll say pass in this request and say you do not have an active order, and just pass in self.request, and we might as well place that there. So now if we come back and refresh this, now we have anonymous user object is not iterable. So we need to ensure that our users are authenticated for some of these views. One of them clearly is the order summary view, and some of these other views would be like the add to cart and the remove from cart. So let's go import from django.contrib.auth.decorators, and we'll import login required. So here on these function-based views, we can at least say at login required above both of these. So we ensure that you have to be logged in to call these methods. Then for the order summary, we're going to need to do the same kind of logic, and we're going to use a mixin for this. And this is just almost from the same path. It's from django.contrib.auth.mixins, and we're importing the login required mixin, and then we just come here and pass it in as the first argument that our class inherits from. So that now if we come back and refresh this, now it redirects us to the sign in page, and let's just sign in. So now we've signed in, and we aren't getting anything showing there, and that's because we still need to pass this order into the context. So let's do that now. We'll say this is the object, and that is the order. and then just pass this in. So there we have that item. There's the price, there's the quantity, and now we need to think about how we can display a total item price. And we could simply do this on the order item. So here on the model, we could define a method that takes the self.quantity and multiplies it by the item price. So we'll say define get total item price, takes in self, and we can just say return self.quantity multiplied by self.item.price. Now, we also have the discount price. So that means that we're going to need a method that does the same sort of logic, but for the discount price. So we'll just say get total discount item price. And instead of multiplying by the price, we're going to multiply by the discount price. So then here on the order summary, we now need to know if the order is on sale or on discount, then we're going to display that discount total price. Otherwise, we display the normal total price. So we'll just say if order item dot discount price. So if there is a discount price, then we'll say else and say end if. So again, if there is a discount price, then we're going to output the get total discount price. So like this. And then otherwise, we'll just get the normal total price. And we could put dollars in front of that. So refresh this now. And we get 300. And that's because this item is on discount. And what we could do to make this even fancier is by creating a method that gets the amount that the person is saving on this item. So we could say get amount saved for self and just say return this method. So self.get total price minus the discount price. And that's how much you're saving. So then we can come back here, and if there is a discount price, then we'll say saving, and then say order item dot get amount saved. Come back here, and there we see saving $300. And we could make this a little bit nicer with a label. And we can come back here to see those components. So if we go components, tags, labels, and badges, and then just scroll down here for this span tag. And then we can put this all inside a span tag actually. And then just come here to the end. And let's see what this looks like. Saving 300. And we can get rid of the brackets there. I'm just going to leave it like this. It's more just to show you the principle and how you can create extra functionality like this pretty quickly. And let's just go and add another item. So this one is not on sale. I'll add that to cart. We'll go back to the cart. Let's actually get that URL there. So then the nav bar here to the cart. We need to add an href here. And this is just going to go to a URL. And let's just check what that URL name is. And that's order summary. Then if we come back, refresh this. And oh, we forgot the namespace. Let's just check what the namespace is. So core. There we go. Now if I click cart, now it takes us there. Cool. So both of these items are displaying the correct total item price. And now we want to display the order total. So that would just be summing both of these values together. And we can also go and fix this order number there. So let's just go back here and we can change this to be for loop.counter. and then just refresh this. There we go. Now that's looking good. And so in a similar way that we did here by checking if there is a discount price and then displaying it, otherwise displaying this, we're going to create a similar method that does that same logic here on the order item, which is basically to get the final price. And that's just so we don't have to keep repeating this if there's a discount price logic. So we'll say define get final price, and we're just going to say if self.item.discount price return self.get total discount, and then say otherwise return self.get total item price. And this is so that on the order we can calculate a total. So we can just say get total. And here we're going to do this in a lazy way by saying the total equals 0 and saying for order item in self.items.all, then we'll say total plus equals to order item dot get final price, and then just say return total. And then here on the order summary, right after the table, in its own row, I'll create one column, and this is going to be object because that's the order, and we're going to say dot get total, and then just put dollars in front of that. And okay, this is inside the for loop. Let's make sure that that's outside the for loop. And there we go. We can just make sure that this is spanning across the entire table. So I'll say column span equals to 5, and then we'll just come here above it, and I'm going to create another column, and this one I'm actually going to give the column span of 4, and this is just going to say order total, and I'll say this is in bold. And we can refresh that. And I'll also make the total itself bold. And then we can also go and add another row. And this row is going to be just a column span of 5. And we'll say that there's a button in here, or rather an anchor tag. And I'll just say proceed to checkout. And for now we can just say that this href takes us to /checkout, and then check this here, and we can give this a class and say button, let's say warning, and I'm also going to say float right. Cool. And I'm just going to change this to 4 as well. Okay, there it is. If I click on that, it takes us to this checkout page. And I'll also add another button in there. So let's just display them here. So this first one we can just say is primary. And it's going to go back to just / for now. And we'll say continue shopping, and I'm going to change the order of those two, and I'll just say margin left. So continue shopping takes you back here, and then lastly here inside the for loop we're going to need to handle if the cart is empty. So if it's empty, then we'll just display a row, and then this is also just going to be one column, and we can say column span equals 5, and we'll just say your cart is empty, and I'll copy this row there, and we can get rid of this proceed to checkout. So all you can do is just continue shopping, and then we also want to make sure if there is an order, then we display this order total. Otherwise we don't display anything. So we'll say if object dot get total, and then say end if, and then we can check this out. So let's say we go and remove those items, and we can actually add some buttons here right next to the quantity, so we can change that. So here, let's go to this order item quantity. We're going to add some icons in there. So if we come here, you can just search for icons and you get icons list. And I'm just going to search for plus. So there we go. So I'll take that and we can put that on the right hand side. And then if we search for minus, copy that one and paste that on the other side. Then if we see what this looks like, and I'm just going to say margin right 2 and margin left 2. There we go. So we want these to also be buttons. So we're going to wrap them in anchor tags, and we'll just output this a little bit better. Cool. Let's save this, refresh that. So now they're buttons at least. And this is going to be the remove from cart, and the plus is going to be the add to cart, because if we take a look here at the views, we have functionality to check if that order item is already in there, and then we're just incrementing the quantity. And then here in the remove from cart, we actually don't have that functionality. So what I'm going to do is just copy that, paste it here, and this is going to remove, maybe let's call this single item from cart. So we're getting the item, checking if the order exists. If it does, we grab the order, we check if the order item is in the order, and instead of removing it, we're just going to decrease the quantity. So if we see how that was done on this add to cart, we're grabbing the order item dot quantity and saying plus equals 1. So here we just say minus equals 1 and then save it. Don't remove it from the cart, and then just say this item quantity was updated. And then I'm not going to redirect back to the core product. Instead, this is going to be order summary. And I'm just going to leave it like this on that one. So now let's take this and bring it into the URLs. And then I'll just copy and paste that there and say this is remove single item from cart. And we'll say remove item from cart like that. So now we can use this in the href. So if we minus, the href is going to be a URL, which will go to that URL. And then we need to pass in the slug. So that's going to be order item dot slug. So let's go and test this out. And oh, this is core as the namespace. And okay, let's go back to the cart there. So now if I click minus, and it's returning a redirect. Oh, we've forgotten we don't need to pass in slug into that URL. So now let's just go back, refresh this. Okay. Now we're on 4. If I click that, now we're on 3. Cool, so that is working. If I say plus, we haven't linked that one yet, but it's going to be pretty similar. So let's just paste that there and make sure that we use the add to cart name. Then let's refresh this. If I click add, and okay, we're redirecting. And it actually might be a good idea that it just redirects back to the order summary in that view as well. So here in add to cart, when we increment the quantity, we're just going to go redirect them there. And also in that case, and in that case. Cool. So let's refresh this, go back to the cart. If I click the plus, oh, right, we don't need the slug passed in there anymore. Okay, refresh that. And let's test it again now. So we see it seems to be working, and the pricing is also changing along with that. Cool, so that's pretty good. Lastly, I think we could add a trash can here on the right hand side, which could be if maybe you have 20 of the same item here and you don't want to click the minus button to get back to 0, so you'd rather just click the trash can. So that means here in the order summary, in this last column here, right here is where we're going to add another one of those icons. So let's just search for trash, and I'll copy that one, paste that there, and just make sure we wrap this in an anchor tag as well. And instead of it being remove single item, this is going to be the remove from cart. So that is just remove from cart. So paste that there. Cool. Let's refresh this. And let's also go and add here float right. Just refresh that. There we go. And I think we could also add some style and just say color is red. Refresh that. Cool. Now if I click to delete that, okay, let's also go back here to the view, remove from cart. We're going to say goes to order summary and get rid of the slug. And otherwise, these two, we'll just let it redirect back to the product. That's fine. So let's go back here to the cart. And if I click to remove it, your cart is empty. Continue shopping. Add to cart. Redirects us back here. Increase the quantity. Decrease. If I subtract again, then we're on 0. I think how we should handle this is if it goes down to 0, then it's removed from the order. So let's go here to the view, and this is the remove single item. So here we'll say if order item dot quantity is greater than 1, then we will subtract 1 from the quantity. Otherwise, we should just say remove from the order. So order items, remove that order item, and I'll bring the order item save there as well. So that seems right. Let's go back here and let's increase the quantity. Okay, now if I subtract, now it's gone. Cool, so all of this seems to be working pretty well. And in the next video, we can get started with that checkout view and look at how we can handle the billing address and shipping address of the user. So if you've enjoyed this video, then leave a comment down below, let us know what you thought. And otherwise, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.